Guys, well, we're sitting up here on one of our ponds, and this is an island that we've got right here, and we've got a lot of beaver and otter that have been using this pond for the last couple years. I think I've trapped out like 7 or 8 otter, and then I think just as many beaver. But I want to do a video on this particular set, and the reason why I trapped this pond is those otters, number one, will just destroy your entire pond. And you know, we don't spend the money to raise those otters. We spend the money to raise those fish. And when those otters come in there and destroy our fish, and we got to take care of them. And in the meantime, we started catching some of these beaver that had been coming in here. I knew that there was a few of them in here just based off tree destruction. So, you know, again, we wanted to keep this property as pretty as we possibly can. And you know, those beaver and otter have their place, but it is not in a pond. So I'm going to demonstrate what we've got here. As you guys can tell, I did end up catching one otter there just a while ago. But basically what I've got is I've got this little contraption right here. And what I'll be looking for on these, especially really kind of any dam, this is the island right here, but if I was to find any other holes or anything, then, you know, as you guys can tell, this is the main hole back in there. There's no telling, you know, how far that's been, you know, dug out. But regardless, you know, this is a perfect spot to put these things. You know, typically it's actually underneath water, and on some of your states, you're gonna have to actually have this thing either underwater or a portion underwater. So what I'm going to actually need to do here, because we're in a state that we got to have actually a portion of it underneath water, you know, it's a lot easier to put it right there at the base of it. But if you find yourself in a situation like what I'm talking about right here, is you got to have it there. Really all you've got to do is put you some run lines right through here, some logs or sticks on both sides, and let those animals force them right down into that trap area, and that will work out very well for you guys. So we'll kind of demonstrate how we put this thing in there. This is a 330 conibear, and this is something you do not want to mess around with, because it has got a lot of poundage behind it in regards to closure, and you know, that's really the main reason why I think a lot of your regulations are going to make you have these things underwater. That way you're not catching you know, other animals that you're not really targeting. So basically this little tool right here will, when these things are expanded, let me just show you all of it real quick. So so these got these little hooks right here, and that's what keeps that stuff closed. So if they're not closed, then you've got to use those grips and basically squeeze these two together, and then put your hook there. Then on both sides, once you got that, then you've got your trigger there, and you get those things set right up there in the middle, and then put your trigger, you know, on either side. It doesn't really matter, front or back. I know some guys do it one way and some guys do the other. I think I forget half the time and just do it however I do, and I catch animals, so not really worried about all that. But all you're going to be doing there is squeezing this together, where you can get that 330 set. Now you've got two settings there. You've got a looser one and you got a tighter one. So again, I think I go back and forth on either one of them, but what I'll do is I'll set that thing right in here, right along those two wires, and then you may have to push the thing down a little bit, you know, a little further down to get it down in there, you know, to the depth that you need, or you're wanting it. But that should work pretty good. And then to actually get that trap ready, all you're doing is flipping these things up just like that, and that trap is actually live and ready to go for really any kind of critter that moves through here. Now what you can do is try to, you know, you can kind of get a lot of that debris and stuff out of here and use that also, you know, they kind of lure those, force those animals back in this, you know, this particular area. And I think you'll find that that will work pretty good. You know, you can kind of get a nice little trail system, you know, down in here, form where it's really just going to force them right in there to that 330, and you know, the rest is going to take care of itself. So you know, if you guys got any questions on this, you know, I don't use any kind of lure at all. I just use these natural travel corridors. I don't know if you guys can see this log right here, but basically those beaver and otter, they just cross that log, and again, it forces them right in there, kills them instantly. And you know, I believe it's truly probably the most ethical and fast kill that you can do on those animals with that 330. They got smaller ones, but those beaver and otter, highly recommend rolling with these 330s. So hopefully you guys are getting out there doing a little trapping, whether it's raccoons or beaver, nuisance, whatever you guys have got. It's a blast, especially, you know, teach those kids, take them along if you get the opportunity to. So like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.